Hey, I'm Mr. Lifestyle, Jaime Swindell. When you are selling something, I'm a big fan of using indirect influence and what I call passive persuasion. All right, meaning that it should not be obvious that you are trying to sell something. It should really occur as a natural conversation, all right, where the end result is that person, that customer, that prospect seems to naturally want what it is that you are offering. All right, now we've all heard the phrase that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Right? Wouldn't you say that's true? I would beg to differ. Because although you can't force it to drink, if you know what you're doing, you could actually put salt in its food. You could put salt in its oats. And so if the horse eats salty food, now it's more thirsty, now is more likely to drink. So there are techniques that you can use to create the desire in your prospect. Oh, more on that later, more on that later. Ooh, I got a lot to tell you about that. But today's topic is how do you handle objections? All right, now again, I'm all about using indirect influence, passive persuasion. I would rather not have to tackle the objection head on. It can be done, and many trainers, including myself, are effective at it, but it's easier to just put that objection to bed, to shoot it off from a distance before it even has a chance to rear its head. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I'm going to give you an exercise. I'm going to teach you a very powerful strategy right now that will make a tremendous impact in your sales if you follow instructions. If you are obedient and you do as I say, watch the difference it makes. Okay, so here's what I want you to do right now. Okay, good. All right, pull out a sheet of paper. Right now. Yeah, go ahead. Pull out a sheet of paper. I'm waiting. Go ahead, do it right now, seriously. Okay, so you got a sheet of paper, right? All right, now what I want you to do is write down the top, let's just say 3 to 5 objections that you often hear in your seminars. Okay, so write them down. So is it, it could be things like, I don't have the money. Your products are too expensive. I need permission. I have to ask my boss. I got to talk to my spouse, the psychics, the stars. I got to talk to somebody because I don't have any power myself. I gave all my power away to everybody else, and now I'm powerless. I have nothing. Okay. So write down whatever those objections are that you hear. I had to bring my credit card today. Can I get it tomorrow? What about next week? Can I mail the form in? All that stuff. Write it down. Okay. All right. So you got it. Now, pick one objection. What's the one that you hear the most? What is that one? Go ahead, say it. I can hear you. Go ahead, say it. Okay. So that one right there. What I want you to do is build a story around that objection. As human beings, we are conditioned to love stories. From a child, we couldn't wait until that parent, that guardian, that friend, whoever, told us a bedtime story. All right, that was something that we really enjoyed. Well, adults are nothing more than big kids, so it works on them too. Yes, it does. So what I want you to do, you're going to build a story. Now, this story you're going to tell in this seminar way before you get to your resource invitation, or what some people call the sales presentation, or others call the sales pitch. Now, of course, I totally disagree with using the word pitch. You may think it's trivial, but it's not, because words have power. When you think of the word pitch, what do you think about? Right? Think about the slimy used car salesman. Boy, do I have a deal for you today. Put you in this baby today, all that kind of stuff. You think about something slimy, or the timeshare person that just can't hear no. So don't use the word pitch. Words have power. So unless you want to take on all of the connotation, all of the energy that comes with that word, eliminate it from your vocabulary. Okay, and see this fly right here is very attracted to that word. So that's why you want to get those words out of the way. All right, so don't use the word pitch. All right, so sales presentation, resource invitation, whatever. So you tell this story before you get to that part in your seminar where you're actually making your offer, your appeal for the different products and services that you are offering that day. Okay, so now here's the structure of the story. The story should have a character, of course. Ideally, it could be you, which is totally okay. The story should also be true. Okay, so it could be something about you or someone else, or a story that you've read or heard or something where there's a character, and then that character actually had to face the same objection that you're trying to handle right now. Okay, so in our case, let's just say we're going to use the I don't have the money objection. Okay, that's the one we're going to use for this example. All right, so some character, again, it could be you, somebody else, whatever. They had to face that same thing. So the story should talk about how that person had a problem. They came up against that objection. They decided to go past that objection. They overcame it. They made the investment, and then the result that they received, something awesome, some kind of big benefit that they received from overcoming that objection. Because think about what you're doing. You're actually going to be telling the audience to do the same thing that this character did. You're not saying it though. You're just using the story as the example, but the subconscious mind hears, that's what I should do too if I want that result. Okay? So I'm just going to make up a story. So let's just say, I'll use myself, okay? So let's just say the story is one day I was at my job, totally frustrated because I came out of a meeting where I got a negative evaluation. My boss didn't like me. He was always against me. It was a bad situation at work. And one of the things he said was that I was very antisocial and people didn't want to be around me and things like that. Okay. All right. So then what you're going to do, and actually this story is true for me. Okay. So again, it's hard for me to make up a story because I believe in telling true stories. So you want to, again, tell a true story. So all this was happening, right? This is a negative situation at work. Okay, good. All right, now I'm sitting at my desk frustrated because I don't know what to do. And one of my coworkers came by and he said, hey, Jaime, what's going on, man? You seem all down. Normally you're kind of up. And I said, well, I just came out of this bad meeting. I got reprimanded. My boss said that I was not good with people. I'm antisocial. People want to be around me. I'm trying my best. My work is done on time all the time. I show up on time. I don't know what to do. And here's what he said. Notice the pause. It's called the pregnant pause. Okay? Notice the pause. Here's what he said. Dave, it's always good to give your characters names so that they're more realistic. Dave said to me, my coworker, Jaime, I understand exactly where you are. In fact, I was in the same place a few years ago. And I said, whoa, time out. Well, what'd you do? How did you get out of that? He said, man, what I did was I got this program called, and then you insert whatever the name of the program is that made an impact on you. Let's just say I use Brian Tracy's Psychology of Achievement. That was the first audio program on personal development I ever got. All right, so Dave said, I got this program called Psychology of Achievement by Brian Tracy, and it totally changed everything about how I view my job, how I view people. Everything changed, and man, that put me on the right track. And I said, really? I said, okay, well, where do you get it from? Is it from the library or what? He said, oh, no, this is not something that's free. You have to pay for it. And I said, oh, come on, Dave. Man, I don't really make the kind of money I make. I don't make the money you make. I can barely pay my bills, let alone buying some other product. Dave said, no, well, you're not just buying something. You're investing in something. You're investing in yourself. And so the benefit is unlimited because the investment continues to pay off forever and ever. Once it's yours, it's yours. He said, but look, I'm not going to try to convince you. Do it or you don't. I know what it did for me. My life is much different than yours. And now you can stay stuck in your perishing predicament, or you can do something different to get a different result. It's up to you. And he walked off. And I'm like, wow, okay. He was dead serious. And I realized that he was right. I had to do something different if I wanted a different result. Because what I was doing obviously was not working. So I ran after him. Dave, okay, Dave, all right, well, where do I get this thing from? And so then I got a hold of that audio program. And Dave was right. It changed everything about me. It changed how I view my job, how I interacted with people. It changed my standards of what I expect from myself and others. It showed me the value of developing people skills and not being the totally just focus-driven electrical engineer, focusing on the engineering type stuff, but to actually look at people. And man, once I started implementing the things that Brian taught me, especially the strategies that he laid out on CD number 4. When I went to work on myself with those strategies, within 6 months, I got my first promotion. Now, up to that point, I had been at the job for, I think, 2 or 3 years to that point. No promotions at all. Within 6 months, boom, promotion. I was so excited. I was actually voted or nominated as the Employee of the Month. All kinds of different things happened, and then raises and everything else happened, as a result of all that information that I learned. And man, it totally changed everything about me. All right, pause. Hope you get the idea. I just told a story, again, a true story, about something that happened to me, about how I personally had to overcome the objection. I don't have the money, it's too expensive, whatever it is. And then how Dave, my coworker, said, look, do it or don't. Notice I'm saying the same thing to the audience. It's indirect. See, if you tell the audience directly to do something, they'll challenge it. You know, so if you say things like, look, you must get it today. If you don't get it, you're going to be a loser. All that does is build up a wall. And now what do they say? You sound too salesy. It's too much pressure. I'm sure you've heard those terms in your seminar. So if you're telling a true story of something that happened to you, then it's not pressure. You're just sharing through story format what happened to you. They can take it or leave it, but what you're doing is you're bypassing the conscious mind and going directly to the subconscious, which is where all the true decisions are made. Oh man, there's so much that I can teach on this topic alone right here. If you get good at handling objections, you will see your sales skyrocket, because that is where a lot of people get stuck. We don't know what to say when those things come up. All right, now, and at the same time, this is only one strategy of about 7 that I've mastered, that I use a lot to create the results that I have. And because think about it, let's say you use that objection, or you use that strategy, and an objection still shows up. How you confront it head on. You know, what do you say then? Right, so there's lots. There's about 7 that I focus on. This one is a very powerful one, so make sure you use it immediately. And for more strategies, be sure to go to MrLifestyle.com, because there's one. That's enough for today. That's enough for today.